Hi, children, wishing you a great day. I'm quite sure that you might have read the reader and done the homework given. Fine. In today's class, let us continue the lesson Mauritius from point number 5 to point number 9. Let me read point number 5. Like others of his fellow men, his ancestors were brought to the islands as slaves or later as indentured laborers to work in sugarcane fields and factories or to cut timber in the jungle and haul it to the boats. Their roots in their original homelands withered and disappeared with the passage of time. All of them together happily came to share in the triumphs and defeats of whoever happened to be their masters among the buccaneering trinity of those days: the Dutch, the French, and the English, who constantly waged battle for the possession of the island for its spices and sugar, are just for the strategic position on the maritime route to the east, conveniently placed as it was for piratal purposes. Now, explanation. So, like other fellow men, even Radha Krishna Govind's ancestors also were brought to Mauritius as slaves or later as laborers who were forced to work in sugarcane fields and factories or to cut timber, that is wood, in the jungle and drag and pull it to the boats. So the meaning of indentured is bound by or forced to. As years moved on, their origin in the original places in their hometowns would be disappeared. But all these people lived together happily. They were never concerned or bothered about the victory or the defeat of the buccaneering trinity of those days. The Dutch, the French, and the English were the buccaneering trinity who were continuously waging war to the masters, rulers of the island, so that they can possess the spices and the sugar of which the island is rich in, or it was convenient for the rulers to steal or loot the ships that was passing through Mauritius. The buccaneering trinity, that is the French, the English, and the Dutch, wanted to rule the island either for its spices or sugar or just for the important strategic position on the maritime route, that is the sea route to the east, so that they can loot or they can steal the ships that passed that way through Mauritius. Now, question: who are the buccaneering trinity? Why are they so called? So, here you can see the pictures, like the ancestors, they were brought to the sugarcane field and they worked there as laborers. They were brought as slaves and they worked there. And here you can see them like cutting the timber, the wood in the forest, and taking it to the boats. This is the for the piratal purposes. The buccaneering trinity, they just were waging war so that they can possess the spices and the sugar of the country of Mauritius, which it was rich in, or they wanted to be the ruler of the country so that they can steal the ships that were passing by that way. So the ships you can see, and you can see the pirates that going to loot the ships. Point number 6 and 7. However, the Battle of 1810 ended all that in favor of the English. The French surrendered and handed over the island after extracting a favor from the conquerors that the French influence on the island be left intact. The English kept their word to the last day of their rule, which ended in 1968. And so we still have very musical but unpronounceable names like Trox Weiches, Viobazin, Quaterbones, Cure Pipe, Rosbell, and so on. The people are extremely relaxed and warm towards strangers. In the streets, in the bazaar, in restaurants, it is common to be greeted and smiled at as if you were a long lost friend. Coming from Bombay with my precast grim expression of a city dweller, I react awkwardly at first to such spontaneity and feel ashamed that I am not even able to produce a matching smile. So, at last in 1810, the buccaneering Trinity's battle ended in favor of the English. So there was always war going between the Dutch, the French, and the English. And at last in 1810, it ended favoring English. The English won the war. The French surrendered and handed over the island in the hands of the English, requesting a favor from the conquerors, that is the English. The English should leave the French influence on the island intact without any damage, without any change as it is. The English also kept up their word to the last day of their rule, which ended in 1968. That is why we still can find very musical but unpronounceable names like Throx Bitches, Bow Basin, Quaterbones, Cure Pipe, Rosbell, and so on. A question from this point. List out the musical and unpronounceable names found by the author. Now, point number 9. Explanation. In this para, we see about the people of the Mauritius. We have seen that they are friendly natured and live in peace and harmony with others. They are very much friendly and warm towards strangers. It is very common that they welcome with a sweet smile on their face towards the people whomever they meet in the streets, bazaars, and in restaurants. They greet the strangers so warmly that they meet a friend whom they have not been in touch for a long time. But R.K. Lakshman, as he was a city dweller from Bombay, he reacted to such natural behavior in an awkward manner, but later felt ashamed that he was not able to consider them and produce a matching smile. Point number 8. The same atmosphere of friendliness prevails even in Port Louis, the seat of government. The cabinet ministers and others in high positions do not act as if they were born to the grace. They are just like ordinary people one bumps into in an airport lounge or in a hotel lobby. They are unassuming, accessible, communicative, and above all, go about without a protective shield of hangers on and security men to repel casual approachers. I am shown a modest looking flat in a busy street lined with shops and crawling traffic. It is the residence of the Prime Minister of Mauritius. Port Louis brings to my mind Joseph Conrad and Moham. This little port town seems as if it were built at the suggestion of these writers to suit their novels and short stories. Merchant ships, trawlers, dinghies stand anchored in the harbor with cobwebs of ropes and festoons of flags hanging from their masts. Grimy sailors and dockhands in seamen's caps launch on oil drums and packing cases or lean against bleak warehouses' walls, smoking pipes. Sugarcane fields like a carpet of green cover the island on all sides as far as the eye can see, up to the foot of the distant blue mountains that ring the island, a volcanic happening of geological ages. These mountains do not have the traditional monotonous pyramidical shapes. Their outlines are freakish and whimsical, with unexpected sweeps and perpendicular drops and pinpointed peaks, precariously doing a balancing act with boulders as big as a skyscraper. So the same friendly atmosphere prevails even in Port Louis, which is the capital, the seat of government. The cabinet ministers and others in high position behave in a very simple manner. They do not behave as if they were born to be honored or respected. They are very simple, like ordinary people, of how one enters in an airport lounge, a waiting room, or in a hotel lobby. An open area inside the entrance of a public building. They are not pretentious or arrogant, easy to approach and communicative, and very important, they do not have a group of people to protect them or many securities to repel, to drive away back the approaches, the casual people who comes to meet them. Then he saw the prime minister's residence, a simple and a modest flat in a busy street where there was a line of shops in a slow moving traffic area. The capital, Port Louis, reminded him of Joseph Conrad and Mohem, the short story writer and novelist. He felt that this Port Louis was constructed at the suggestion and views of these writers. Merchant ships, trawlers, dinghies, these are the trawlers, all are seen anchored in the harbor with all the ropes tangled and twisted together like cobwebs and flags decorated with chains of flowers hanging from the tall upright post. That's a mast. Gloomy and very serious sailors who had been loading and unloading in the port with one hand in the cap and the other smoking pipes, stand relaxedly leaning onto the oil drums or packing cases or against bleak warehouses, miserably looking large building where some materials or goods are stored up, where raw materials or goods are stored up. And sugarcane fields are spread all over the island like a green carpet on all the side as far as your sight, up to the bottom of the distant far off blue mountains where of geological ages the volcanoes erupt, and that sound echoes surrounds the island. The mountains found here do not have the traditional pyramidical shapes. The outlines of these mountains are strange and peculiar and fantastical, with unexpected curves, sweeps, and perpendicular drop, being at right angles, extremely steep And precariously means dangerously, doing a risky balancing act with boulders. Boulders mean large rocks on the tip of the mountains. Skyscraper means a very tall building of many stories. So, story, story means tails. Storeys means many floors. Point number 9. There is no railway in Mauritius. Well maintained trunk and arterial roads connect various villages and towns, cutting through the ubiquitous sugarcane fields. Although the whole country is only 64 km by 50 km in size, driving round the island for sightseeing makes me feel curiously that I am in a place as sprawling as India. But the excellent weather and breathtaking landscapes all round make up for many hours spent just sitting inside a car. It is very common for people to drive up and down an average 70 km to a cocktail party or dinner with friends. So here explanation. There is no railways found in Mauritius, but well maintained roads and arterial, that is important roads. Roads connect many villages and towns which passes through sugarcane fields, that is found everywhere. Ubiquitous means the sugarcane fields are found everywhere. The size of the island is just 64 kilometer by 50 kilometer. But a person one who goes for a drive around the island for sightseeing would seriously feel that he is in a place as spread out in a large area as India. Sprawling means spread out in a large area as India. So it will be in a untidy and irregular way. But it has an excellent weather and beautiful and unbelievable sceneries, landscapes, natural views all around. A person can spend many hours together just sitting inside a car and enjoy the sceneries. And it is very common for the people of Mauritius to go up and down for a long drive for an average of 70 kilometer to have a cocktail party, that is to eat and drink appetizers or starters before a main meal of dinner with friends. So children, in today's class we have seen from point number 5 to 9. If you don't understand, you can contact me. Thank you.